Hi, thanks for joining us again, or joining us still.
Are they staying tuned?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
You are tuned in. On dog watching, we're gonna...
I'm not even saying anything.
On dog watching, we're going to be talking about Logan. Logan's Run. No, wait, that's not it.
That's not the right thing.
Wolverine 3.
Wolverine 9.
You can't count each one that he's in.
9.5.
So it's the next standalone. And actually, it's the last time Hugh Jackman's going to be Wolverine.
I'm okay with that.
And that makes me sad.
I'm okay with that.
Why are you okay with that?
Because it's time for us to grow.
Got a growth right here for you.
I don't need your Tuma.
So what do you think about it overall?
Well, I mean, from the trailers and everything, I think that it actually might be a good standalone. I mean, when I first heard about it, I was like, another one? Mm-hmm. But then kind of just waiting it out, learning more about it, seeing the premise, seeing some of the character development. I mean, it looks like it's going to be good. I mean, very action-filled. I feel like it's going to be a tearjerker, which, you know, I always wanted to cry on Logan's chest, so that works out. No, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
I am intrigued. There's a spark.
Yeah. I do like what they're going with is the Old Man Logan, I think it's called Old Man.
Yeah, he's starting to age.
But it's a comic book series. I haven't been able to read it, but it's one of the most revered Wolverine storylines that they did. It's like way after everything because obviously he can live forever. But I just like the main thing. I'll kind of touch on what you're talking about. The main thing is that this one can actually be viewed as its own movies. There's a part in the trailer where they actually he picks up the comic book of it and he's like, oh, hey, we got an X-Men fan here. And he's like, well, some of these things happened, just not the same way. And I really like that because, you know, I mentioned this before, I think it was during our post-week news, and I kind of just mentioned the fact that we're getting a standalone movie. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily have to worry about what time frame this is.
What happened before?
Is this after Days of Future Past? You know, we don't have to worry about that. That's what's going to be so refreshing about this. And unfortunately, since this is confirmed as Hugh Jackman's last hurrah of Logan, like, this could have brought a new breath into the Logan character. And so, I mean, I guess on the one hand, okay, yay, they go out with a bang, but then they're going out. So it's like, god dang it.
But I mean, I'm okay with them going out on Logan because it's like, X-Men was more than just Wolverine. Mm-hmm. It was way more than that. And we're starting to see that develop. I mean, with Deadpool. I mean, having the characters they had now, of course, they ran out of money, so they could only afford 2 X-Men characters. Right. They couldn't even get the jet. They couldn't even go in the damn building, for fuck's sake. But even in other movies, you're seeing, you know, and shows you're seeing tips of X-Men here, tips of X-Men there. And I like that. Mm-hmm. Going back to Days of Future Past, I like that as well, because then you get a dive into, you know, Beast and all them. So I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. If Logan's going out, we're going to be able to see, maybe we can get a Nightcrawler movie.
Yeah.
I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah, definitely.
I was a fan of Toad.
You want a Toad movie?
I wouldn't mind a Toad movie.
You wouldn't mind to see what happened to the guy that, you know...
FYI, the guy is not a guy. His name is Ray Park.
Yeah.
First off, Darth Maul.
Yeah.
He also played the Headless Horseman on Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He was the headless body doing all the fighting.
Oh.
He's a really nice guy. I met him in person. Yeah, he held my child.
He held your child.
I never watched him.
Yeah, no wonder.
That's why it's got the growth.
So anyways,
but
to the thing.
As much as we all love Wolverine, as much as we all love what Hugh Jackman has done, are you not at any way or shape or form just ready to move on from that? Are you You don't feel that you need more... I feel that we need more of the universe. It's like, okay, I like Harry Potter for 7 movies, but honestly, I'm glad we have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, because now we get more of the story.
All right, you got me there. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, that made it on my top 5 for very good reason. So, I mean, you make a good point.
I appreciate it. It's not often he says that. I'm kind of... You can't see it, but I have my bird. Bird.
Birdman.
If you can see my finger, it's doing this.
But sorry about that.
I might be able to work a rule on it.
Anyways,
5 minutes of the show. Because I was trying to fart. Get a straw.
So another thing we have to talk about, because it's a topic, is it's going to be rated R.
I'm okay with this.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with this. Deadpool rated R, deserved it.
Yes. The one thing that I hope that this movie was built from the ground up to be rated R.
Not from a platform that they've already had built.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
Batman
agree with
vs.
that.
Superman, I personally love the movie, and the extended version, it made it better, but what I didn't appreciate is Zack Snyder adding in CG blood.
Oh,
it's like, why? I mean,
why?
Whereas this, if it was built from the ground up to be gritty and be a true look into the psyche of Logan.
Yeah, and even in the trailers, you actually do see brutality.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they didn't, when it came to the trailer, they didn't shy away from it. You don't see blood. I mean, you may see it on his clothes.
Right.
Or on his head. But when you see the girl leaping over people and coming down with that Logan fist, you know there's going to be some gore.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah, and I think the second, the Wolverine, I think that one did pretty good. And they're especially the one part where he has 200 arrows in his back or whatever.
That was well done.
Yeah, and that was pulled straight from one of the comics, and I love that. And I think there's even an unrated version of the Wolverine, which does make it a little bit better, because obviously, just like any freaking extended cut, they take out key scenes that you should have already freaking known about. Calm down. But anyways, I do hope that's my one red flag that I'm going to have to say about Logan. Okay. I hope it is built from the ground up to be rated R.
Yeah.
I hope... and, if they were done with the script, if they were a good portion already through the script by the time Deadpool was such a success, I hope that they were able to make changes to it naturally.
Yeah.
And hopefully the fact that this is, this isn't in the same universe, hopefully that will work to its benefit, so that if anything comes up, like the fact that he cuts off somebody's head, it'll be like, oh, that's okay, because the other movies was the comic book version of Wolverine, and this is the real version,
The gritty version.
The real gritty version.
The only reason why he wants it rated R is because he's hoping to see Hugh Jackman's ass.
Just a will.
We all kind of
We've already seen his ass. I want to see his cack.
And the cack! God, can you imagine if he was jerking off and then he got way too excited? That would be terrible!
Terrible.
Making eggs. Fingering a girl.
Okay, that's enough.
Abortion.
But I like the fact that this particular character is going to be rated R. The worry I have is that because Deadpool did so well, now we're gonna get a bunch. We're gonna get a flood of rated R movies. I do believe it works for the Wolverine, but it's not gonna work for somebody like
Aquaman.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good example. I mean, he's fighting people in the water and it all turns red or something.
Aquaman's so bad that they haven't even given him a fucking movie yet. Yet. We're gonna get a dive. Summer 2018.
But yeah, hopefully we don't get too much of the rated R.
With what you said about red water, actually, Aquaman could be gritty. Say, he's fighting a villain underneath water and then he actually nicks him and the blood comes out and then a shark comes out of nowhere and...
Yeah, which is his ultimate move from Injustice got him on.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. So yeah, I mean, okay. So maybe they could do it, but maybe not. Maybe you could put this here. Yeah. It would be good. And now, who would not make a good rated R movie for a superhero?
Spider-Man.
You don't think Spider-Man?
I mean, the essence of Spider-Man is he's always kind of a nerd. He's always there are some dark moments that they tread on, especially in, I think, Amazing Spider-Man, the 1 and 2. I think those did a good job of kind of showing the somewhat darker side, but they didn't have to go... They didn't have to go full Deadpool. They didn't have to go full Punisher. Because that's not Spider-Man. Spider-Man doesn't take his web and, like, cut someone's head off and then throw the head off at somebody. That's Deadpool. That's what Deadpool does. So Spider-Man, no, wouldn't work. Your turn.
I kind of want Spider-Man to do that.
It would... Only if he had the symbiote, and so he used it as a blade, like kind of like Carnage.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. Well, not only that, like imagine if like he actually captures them in the web and he actually feasts on them.
Oh,
come on! You could make Spider-Man pretty dark.
Think if they did Spider-Man Noir, that is an awesome graphic novel. And they could do that rated R, especially if they did kind of like Sin City, where the blood was red but everything else was black and white.
That would be really good.
Yeah.
That would be really good. The one I don't see as a rated R is Ant-Man.
I don't know, unless he like went into somebody's mouth and then got bigger. His head just
ripped his head off. Yeah. I thought it would have been cool if he'd have done that when he was in like Iron Man's suit on Civil War. If he just, expanded and ripped his armor off.
Yeah, that's a good
that would have been a cool.
See, that wouldn't have been gory.
No, it wouldn't have been unless he was flying at a high altitude and he ripped his armor off, and then Iron Man fell to his death. Then yes.
What's another one? Another one would be. See, I can't say like Luke Cage because I mean, even the Netflix series, that first episode where the guy punches and it's like, that was gory. And Daredevil, he can totally be rated R because we've seen him on Netflix being rated R. Absolutely. Let's see, the Fantastic Four. They cannot be rated R. It just doesn't fit their.
No, it doesn't. I can't even. I mean, the Rock guy smashing somebody thing, not really. Maybe Stretch smothering somebody. I don't.
But even then, that's not gore.
It's not. It's nothing that's massive. No, I agree with you there. I don't think Fantastic Four would do it. Actually, at all.
Yeah.
I think it'd be.
One more for you.
Let's see here. So we did Ant-Man, Fantastic Four. I feel like the Flash could get gory because he can phase into people and then unphase and just. Man, that's actually it's starting to get harder now.
Yeah.
I can't classify Robin because he's not a standalone. I mean,
I could see Nightwing being a rated R movie because you could get. I want a Red Hood rated R movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And not the whole thing where we find at the end that he's actually one of the Robins that we thought was. No, I don't. I just want a Red Hood movie. That would be a really good rated R movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Green Lantern. Can't rate R in. No, I can't do that. Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, in general, he is kind of a smart ass. No matter what version of the Green Lantern, he's kind of a smart ass. And so a lot of his things have to be realistic. And I mean, sure, he could have a minigun and he could tear somebody apart, but it really wouldn't go with his mythos.
It wouldn't, because that's not his nature either as a character. And I couldn't see them putting him into that nature because if they did, he would have the yellow light or the red light. So I mean, it wouldn't blend with the story. So.
All right. So what other comic book heroes could not be rated R? Let us know in the comments below. Up next, we're going to be talking about reboots and remakes and
how they all suck ass.
That's going to be up next on Dog Talk.
Ass.
They don't all. Alright, thanks for sticking with us. Now on Dog Talk, we're going to be talking about reboots, remakes, and stuff like that. And not only that, but what it means in general. So give me, what do you think about reboots and remakes in general?
In general, as far as reboots and remakes, I'm always a little standoffish because you never know how they can go. There's been great ones, there's been bad ones. For me, I try to go into it with as open mind as possible because I always want to have faith in something growing past what they've given me.
Right.
You know, I like to see progression. I've been let down a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure I'm about ready to get let down in the next month or so. So for me, Power Rangers. I mean, as much as we have disputed it, again, I hold on to the nostalgic factor. I want to give them the chance.
Right, yeah, okay.
I mean, I hold all of what you said in very high value. I really do, because they're very valid points as far as what they're going to be able to do as far as the movie goes. But it's like, okay, it's like we were talking about earlier, Dragon Ball Z. I had high hopes, and it was like...
Well, okay, but that's not a reboot. They just made a live-action version of it. There wasn't a movie... I guess... Well, I don't know. What I count a reboot is like... They've done a movie now that... Okay, so like a good recent example would be Beauty and the Beast. They're doing another Beauty and the Beast. Now, yes, it is a live action, but like, it's... I don't know, like, I count it as a reboot because I do kind of see them...
It has more of that feel, that Disney Beauty and the Beast feel, whereas Dragon Ball Z... We knew because of the title what it was, but when you get into the movie, it didn't feel like Dragon Ball Z at all.
Right, and like that's more of an adaptation of an anime.
Okay, true. Yeah, so, I can see that.
I mean, that's the way So I don't really know if that is technically a reboot, but Beauty and the Beast.
It could be, but it's a gray area.
Yeah. So Beauty and the Beast, in my opinion, is a reboot. It's a remake. Let's put it that way. I think that would be a better way of putting it.
Especially when you said that, you know, the fact that they're pulling things from the original movie, the animation, that makes it a reboot.
Right. We're gonna have the Gaston song. We're gonna have Be Our Guest. Right. We're gonna have the Beauty and the Beast song, because actually John Legend and Ariana Grande, they did it. But I think they did the pop version. I think the real version will be sung by the, you know, Mama Pot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So,
okay. What's your general feel? What do you think about reboots and remakes? I mean, how do you approach them?
So I'm gonna kind of go and reiterate what you said, where I try to go in with an open mind, and I try to never go into a reboot or a remake expecting absolutely anything from the original.
Total Recall.
Example. Thank you so much. You know, it's like this. You know, like we have rings on, and it's because we're really married to each other.
And that's just because it's the one that rules them all.
So, I was actually going to bring up Total Recall. Total Recall, for me, is a good movie.
It was good.
Is it a good Total Recall?
No!
No! It is terrible.
Absolutely terrible.
Why are we on Earth instead of Mars? That was like one of the main hooks.
What's this giant freaking tunnel through the entire planet with express vaders? I mean...
Why are there not mutants? Because that was because they were on Mars. So you have that 3-boob lady. Why does she have 3 boobs? She's not a mutant. So yes, there are certain things about Total Recall that sucked.
But then there were still some good aspects.
It was a good movie.
It was a good movie.
If it wasn't called Total Recall, and instead it was called a
Earthman Crazy? I don't know, you know?
Make-believe vacation time. And
Colin Farrell makes a comeback.
Right.
You know?
If it was called literally anything else... And see, I've said this before. I don't know if it was on record. But I've said this before, where if they literally took a movie... I think I talked about it when we were talking about like video game movies. But if they literally took Total Recall out of the title, they still called it something like Pandora's Epidemic or something. I don't know.
Sure. No, yeah, sure.
Just 2 random words. And
metal flashing.
But in the credits, they said, based on Total
Inspired
Recall.
By.
Inspired. There you go. If they did that would make so much more sense.
It would have made sense. And I agree with you 100%. As a movie, it was good. As a Total Recall remake, go suck one.
Go suck it.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Why?
Good movie. Now, when we first saw it, both of us, well, me, you, and Doug, were kind of like, and then I've watched it like 6 times since, and I'm like, you know, it's a higher pitch.
It's a higher. That's a good example. I mean, that's a good example of one that did well.
It did
not only did it did well with like box office, but with the critics, it won some awards for special effects, and it fucking deserves it. So yeah, that's a good. We went on one spectrum. Here's the other spectrum: a reboot that actually does good and actually builds to the mythos.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing is. Are
you subliminaling in our show?
I am.
I can't be a part of this.
Okay. But the thing is that it actually, one, the guy who was involved in the original Mad Maxes helped build this one, so there was that. But I think what needs to happen more often is they need to have somebody who wants to make it a good movie and not wants to take it and make their version of the movie.
I mean,
a good example of that, Ghostbusters. He wanted to...
Sorry, I caught what you had.
FYI,
I watched like 5 minutes of it. I actually watched like the first 5 minutes. Still, give me a minute.
Okay. So while you're getting yourself together... but the thing is that, instead of remaking it to, like... I mean, honestly, they remade it for money.
Well, and they wanted to empower the woman character.
But they just did it in such the wrong way, and it was like you were being spoon-fed.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that's a really bad example. Now, going back to something like Beauty and the Beast and Jungle Book was good.
That was great.
It was actually
one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's a really good example of how you can do it right. And then you have Beauty and the Beast, and I hope it's going to be good. But here's my problem with the overall. Now we're going to have a live action Mulan. We're going to have a live action.
I want a live action Mulan.
It would do good, but so here's my thing though. I grew up on Beauty and the Beast. I grew up on Lion King. They're going to make a live action Lion King. So, and now we both have kids. My whole thing is that I grew up on that stuff, and it holds a special place in my heart. And now, like, I don't blame Zoe Ann for wanting to watch like newer things, but she's gonna want to watch. Like, okay, a good example is I don't know why, but she prefers CGI movies over cartoon movies. So that right off the bat, she's gonna prefer Jungle Book, the new one, rather than the cartoon, because that's just that's what she likes. Not only that, but by the time she gets old enough to be kind of cognitive about what she actually wants to watch, she's not going to want to watch these old-looking the kind of cartoon that has like the lines.
You would be surprised.
I know. I
got my kids on the new Mario TV show. And they liked it. And then we found the 1980s version on Netflix, and they don't watch anything else.
Okay, well, maybe there's hope, but my thing is that I don't want to force her.
Well, no, you never want to force.
You never want to force, and so I guess I'm worried that she's going to end up liking like the new Beauty and the Beast. She's going to like Emma Watson more than the original Belle, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that like when I think Lion King, I think a cartoon, I think about how awesome. I hope Lion King is awesome, and I hope that it blows us away, but it's not my Lion King.
No. Lion King 1/2,
the Electoral College
2,
did.
Come on. No, all the additions, you're absolutely right. Lion King, just can't wait to be king, okay? That pinnacle song of the movie.
Right. Even if they redo it, it's like, that's not my
It's not
version
what
of it.
we went through.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, going back to the Jungle Book. So the Jungle Book they did was really, really good. Now, that's the third live-action Jungle Book they've made.
That's true. They got Mowgli's story.
What was that other... It was bad.
Yeah?
It was worse.
Maybe it was a straight to DVD. Maybe that's why.
I don't remember. I can't remember. It might have even just been like a Netflix release or something. It was just bad. Getting away from the Disney, okay? Because we've been talking like action-y, Disney, stuff like that. A movie that... Is it Walking Tall or Standing Tall?
Walking Tall, yeah.
Walking Tall. That was a remake.
That was, yeah.
And not a lot of people knew that. They thought it was a standalone film.
1985's The Thing, because I always have to bring that up. That was so good. That was a remake. And then the remake of the remake was horrible.
It was terrible.
I actually like it. That's just the nostalgia talking.
Yeah, it's gonna come down to me and just like Power Rangers. Like Power Rangers is going to be a reboot. Yeah, 100% reboot. The way they're doing everything about it's reboot. Yeah. And the only thing keeping me to it is nostalgia, and I can't deny it, I'm really intrigued with the robotic looking suit. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot. I know you are definitely you were. I wouldn't say 100% gung-ho against CGI, but you don't like overly CGI'd movies.
Yeah, definitely.
Me, it's kind of like, well, if you got the money and if you can afford the effects, make them good, at least. Don't give me some fuzzy image.
Yeah, definitely.
I want good CGI. If you're going to give me a CGI movie, you better fucking make it great.
Yeah.
I want to, there's other movies that have used CGI overly, and they've done well with them.
Yeah.
They have the tools. Utilize it. But... I mean, as far as reboots go, I mean, we're looking at a lot of different things that play into factor as a reboot too. Because again, being older, we have certain images and thoughts of what the movie had, and again, like J.J. Abrams, like when he did Star Wars. Not that it's a reboot or a remake, it's not. Right.
It is technically a retelling. I mean, he reordered certain things, like instead of Obi-Wan dying, now it's Han Solo. I mean, there's obviously things that were different, and it could be rebootish, remake-ish. Yes, kind of. But with what he added to it, made it its own. Yeah.
It's an Abrams film, and honestly, I don't think the guy can do wrong. I like Abrams a lot.
He's coming back for number 9, and I can agree with that.
I think they need to. I mean,
it's going to be interesting. Number 8's going to come out, and it's going to be a different director. And then it had to have been a scheduling thing because he's coming back for number 9, and.
Or maybe it could have been a scheduling thing. Maybe they've got into production and they've started reviewing film from the new director, and they're just like, "Whoa, you're fucking this up."
No, it was before they even started with.
Okay, so okay, well, good then.
Don't spread false lies.
I'm not trying to.
Don't be fake news, right?
I'm trying not to be. But as far as reboots go, you gotta love to hate them. You gotta hate to love them.
Yeah.
I mean. You can't be a snob when it comes to those types of movies. You have to go into them open.
If you go into a movie thinking that, I'm going to see this scene, I'm going to see that scene, I can't wait to see what they do with it. No, you can't do that.
No, take that even off. Take it out of the clipboard.
Yeah.
Put a whole new sheet of paper in there. I mean, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what we got coming over the year. I'm sorry, I'm feeling a little Kathy.
So let's do a quick list here. Reboots that would be good if they didn't have the title. So kind of like Total Recall.
Reboots that would have been good if they didn't have the title?
Yeah.
Every Michael Myers movie. It was just the same thing. Fuck, stab. That's all it is.
That's a good one.
I mean, Halloween H2O, come on. Halloween thirsty? No thanks. I mean, just no. I don't know. Because there's a lot.
I think the newest thing, if they would have maybe just changed certain aspects of it, so it was like a shape-shifting monster, but it wasn't the monster from the thing, I think it would have been okay.
Okay, yeah.
Prometheus. I think since they didn't attach it enough to the Alien franchise. They didn't do it enough. That was what people's main concern is that, we get to figure out how this ship landed here. You kind of had to be
a super fan of Alien to know from the beginning of that movie.
And you had to do it frame by frame by frame. Oh, here's this in the background.
Yep, you can see this over here. Yeah. That's the shape of this. You're right, because, if you weren't like... I knew what the movie was when I started watching it. I had a friend there with me. He's like, man, this is a really good movie. What? I'm like, Prometheus. Wow, it's a whole new film. I'm like, well, it's an addition. What?
Yeah. And I guess I kind of broke my own rule because it wasn't called Alien.
Right.
It was called Prometheus. So that's my fault. But it was still supposed to be. Everything leading up to the movie coming out was supposed to be, this is Alien, the prequel, and
right.
That's what it was marketing as. Marketing as.
That's how they marketed it? That's not right either. Ghostbusters. They should have just renamed it to shit. I'm I'm serious. 5 freaking minutes is all I could do. That's all. We've talked about it for weeks and months, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it.
I'm not going to watch it. I haven't watched it yet.
Do you know what I saw?
To my guns.
I saw it on PlayStation View.
Ooh.
That's how shitty it was. It immediately came out to that. They didn't even have commercials. Nobody wants to sponsor that crap. It was bad.
Well, when they were trying to sell the movie, they were trying to give away the game with it.
Yes, let's watch McCarthy run around in a suit that I really don't want to see her in. I love her to death. I really do. As an actress, great. I mean, as far as the game goes, I wouldn't want, nothing to do. I think Melissa McCarthy's a good actress. I like her in certain aspects. But for the role they put her into, no. That movie was just bad.
I think the main problem with reboots and remakes is the problem with originality. Let's get some new stories. If you want to be inspired by something, it's okay to be inspired.
Yeah.
Like a movie we talked about last week was A Cure for Wellness. It is clearly inspired by Shutter Island and The Shining.
Yes.
There's clearly aspects of that movie that pulled from other movies. Magnificent Seven is a really good movie, and really, the storyline is just like any.
It's a remake.
Spaghetti Western out there. It's like anything.
It's a remake.
Well, yes, but that's not the point. The point is that it takes inspiration from a bunch of things, and yes, unfortunately, it does have the Magnificent Seven name. But my point is that yes, it's just like any Western out there, and so it's not necessarily original, but like I still think that they did a really good job. I mean, I think that one's kind of up in the air. I'm not sure if it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but I personally liked it, and it's but I mean, what's another good example? Like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. They kept going with the Harry Potter universe, but they didn't have to, this is what happened to Harry Potter when he was a baby.
They changed it so much they took you away from England and put you in America with a whole new set of wizarding rules.
Right. And so
they removed that comfortability for them and put themselves in a realm where it could have bombed.
Yeah, it
definitely could have bombed.
Yeah.
But they made it work.
Right. And so I think if you do have to go back to the well and you have to remake a Blair Witch, you have to remake Total Recall. If you have to do that, be inspired by it, but don't get boggled down by the fact that I need people to recognize the name, and since they recognize the name, that's why they're going to the food. No. If people pay attention to movies, and most people do nowadays, they don't just watch a trailer and be like, I'm going to go watch. A lot of people, a good portion of people, they try to also get to know what it's about. And it's like, okay, this is a retelling of this, but we called it Prometheus. It's like, okay, that's okay. It's okay to do that. You don't have to have Total Recall in the name. And I mean, that's the last thing I'm going to say about reboots.
One more thing. What would you like to see rebooted or just a total remake? Would you keep the title? Would you change the title? How would you have it?
Okay, you go first.
Me, Starship Troopers.
Okay.
Back in the day, the first and second one really good. The third one, I don't even think I watched it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
The third, or maybe they had a fourth one too. I just can't remember.
I honestly don't know.
But I would like to see a reboot. I want to see it redone. Give me some new graphics. Kind of beef it up a little bit.
Yeah.
It was good on its own. There was a lot in the movie, and I thought that the character development was great. But I want it put it on steroids. That's where I stand. Keep the name, keep everything else. Just give it that shove. Like, okay, we've beefed up our technology.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like what they did with the movie Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh yeah.
When they remade that and they had Joey Tribbiani from Friends.
Yeah.
It was good. Should not have redone that movie.
Yeah, really shouldn't have done that.
I think that's what tanked his career.
Oh God. I still haven't. I was trying to think the whole time you were doing that.
It's a hard question.
Yeah.
That's a hard question. I mean, would you want an action one to remake? Would you want a love story to remake?
I don't know.
A Walk to Remember?
I'm also trying to stick outside the realm of what is actually being remade.
True. True.
And there's a lot that's already being rumored to be remade, so it's like...
Yeah. Oh, everything's a rumor anymore. Why you think? When it comes to like what remake would I want removed, I'd have to say I'd want Ghostbusters completely taken off. I really do. I
think we're wrecking on Ghostbusters a little too much.
Come on! It was bad! It was so bad. I really want it just redone. I want them to take it off the shelves. I really couldn't. I've never actually discussed a movie. I was never that disgusted by a movie as much as I was Ghostbusters. It's not because they're women, so please don't get on me about that. It has nothing to do with that. It was everything from their execution to the jokes to just imaging. It was just not... I mean, when you're sitting there for 5 minutes and you're like, oh, wow, I'm glad I didn't go pay for this.
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I try, like I said, we try to go into these films open-minded. I tried. I literally tried. I got drunk as shit. No, I didn't get drunk. I just couldn't do it. Yeah. I couldn't do it. But you have nothing, huh? Nothing.
No, I can't think of anything. I think the nostalgia part of me just can't.
Nick wants to remake Barney and Friends. He's just too afraid to say it.
Yeah, I can't really think of it. So, I mean, I think that's going to be it for us for the Deadly Operative Grunt show. Yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Facebook.
Those are buttons below us.
Yeah. And that's Deadly Operative Grunts, or on Twitter at Deadly Op Grunts. Make sure to share us. I'm still putting the challenge out there that if we get to 50 likes, we'll do a $50 card to one of the people who... All you need to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video. And if we get up to 50, we'll do a $50 card. So
yeah. Randomly,
picked from random. All right, so, I mean, that's it for us.
Yeah.
Make sure to let us know in the comments below what's your favorite reboot and what's your least favorite reboot. Or if you don't have a favorite reboot, just what's your worst.
What do you want to strike from the reboots, and what would you like to see rebooted?
There you go. So let us know in the comments below. Yep. That's it for the Deadly Operative Grunts, and we're feeling squirrely. Mother.
Triple threat.